Have you ever made a resolution and then gave up after a few weeks? You are not alone. The problem is often not the resolution itself, but how we approach it. But don't worry, today we'll learn how to change that. The secret lies in our habits. In this video, we show you how you can turn your resolutions and goals into lasting habits with the help of Atomic Habits. We often set goals for ourselves, such as exercising more, eating healthier, or being more productive. But how often do these goals really stick? And why is it so difficult to implement them permanently? It's less about what goals we set for ourselves and more about the systems we build through our habits. These systems are what ultimately determine success. Today, we'll show you what these systems look like and how you can use them for your own goals. Imagine if you could improve your life by making simple changes to your everyday life. Whether it's losing weight, eating healthier, or quitting smoking, the goals are clear, but how do we actually achieve them? It's not enough to decide that you want to lose weight or give up cigarettes. The key lies not in intention alone, but in the daily habits we cultivate that ultimately shape our behavior. In Atomic Habits, James Clear shows us that monumental changes usually result from small, consistent steps. It's not about the big leaps, but about the robust system of habits we build day after day. A plane that veers even slightly off course ends up far off course. Similarly, small changes in our daily habits, like choosing a healthier meal or skipping a cigarette break, lead to far-reaching changes in our lives. The impact of small decisions, like choosing an apple instead of fast food or taking a walk instead of a smoke break, may be invisible at first, but in the long term, these decisions can radically change the picture of our health and well-being. It can be frustrating when the scale doesn't go away right away or the craving for a piece of cake or a cigarette doesn't go away. What's important is that you focus not just on these goals, but on the system you develop to get there. It's about creating an environment that encourages healthy choices and minimizes temptation. A reliable system of habits is like an autopilot on the path to success. We'll explore how you can design such systems to move toward a healthier, smoke-free life every day. By focusing on the structure of your everyday life, you create the basis for lasting change. Automated behavior patterns and the 4 phases of habit. Automated behavior patterns are the unnoticed heroes of our everyday life. They are actions we repeat so often that they have become second nature, like instinctively turning on the light in a dark room. But how do these habits actually form? They develop in 4 phases, starting with a trigger or trigger that creates a craving, which then leads to a response and finally ends with a reward. Edward Thorndike's early experiments with cats laid the foundation for our understanding of these processes. He showed that a cat that wanted to break out of the cage learned through repetition to achieve success more quickly. What started as minutes of groping soon turned into a purposeful action, a habit. Like Thorndike's cats, who learned to escape their cages more quickly, we can establish efficient patterns in our behavior through repetition and positive results. Whether it's quitting smoking, losing weight, or eating healthier, once we find a strategy that works, we reinforce it through repetition. In Atomic Habits, James Clear expands on this concept. The trigger is the starting point, followed by the desire that drives us. The reaction is the actual habit we perform, and the reward confirms whether that habit has value for us and whether we should repeat it. Let's take the morning ritual of drinking coffee. The alarm goes off. That's the trigger. The desire to wake up arises. The reaction is to go to the coffee machine, and the reward is the enjoyable feeling of being ready for the day. Understanding these stages is key to developing positive habits. In the next section, we'll look at how we can use these insights to form habits that contribute to healthier, more fulfilling lives. The first law, visibility and invisibility of the trigger. An essential step in building new habits or breaking old ones is controlling the visibility of triggers. Let's remember the 4 stages of a habit: the trigger that drives us to action, the desire we feel, the reaction that follows, and finally the reward that gives us the feeling of success. For good habits, the triggers should be visible. For bad habits, they should be invisible. If losing weight is your goal, place healthy snacks like fruit visible and within reach. Instead of being relegated to the depths of the cupboard, a bowl of fresh fruit on the table is a powerful visual trigger that entices you to make healthy choices. Or let's set the goal of exercising regularly. Instead of I should run more, you define it precisely. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I run 3 kilometers at 7 in the morning. Your running shoes are waiting visibly at the exit, ready for you to slip into. For someone who wants to quit smoking, it is helpful to have replacement activities such as a stress ball or a book visibly within reach. At the same time, cigarettes and lighters should be made invisible to avoid the trigger. Removing these visible triggers from your immediate environment can help you resist temptation. Instead of vague plans, you create clear, concrete plans, so-called implementation intentions. These turn a vague wish into a tangible action. They are the difference between I want to eat healthier and the concrete plan when I get home from work. I'll eat a handful of nuts instead of snacking. The experiment by Dr. Ann Thorndike in the hospital cafeteria shows us how changing environments can influence our habits. By making healthy options like water instead of soda readily available, people automatically chose healthier alternatives. What we learn from these examples is clear. If we design our environment so that the triggers for our new healthy habits are obvious and the triggers for our bad habits are invisible, we are much more likely to implement and maintain them. The second law, the attractiveness of habits. Dopamine, often referred to as the happiness hormone, is crucial for habit formation. It is released not only during the execution, but also when we anticipate a rewarding activity and motivates us to repeat behaviors that bring us joy. You can use this anticipation to promote new positive habits. Imagine rewarding each successful day of healthy eating with a little self-care, like a relaxing bath. The anticipation of this can increase the motivation to stay on the ball. Combine your running sessions with your favorite music or an audio book that you are looking forward to. This increases the appeal of exercising and makes it more likely that you will stick with it. Make it a goal to plan a movie night or another enjoyable activity for every week without a cigarette. The prospect of this reward can help overcome cravings. Linking a desired habit to an already attractive activity can increase the likelihood that the new habit will be maintained. The anticipation that arises activates the reward system and supports the formation of the new habit. Ronan Byrne illustrates this principle perfectly. He didn't particularly like exercise, but by combining training on his exercise bike with watching his favorite shows on Netflix, he created a motivating combination of needs. We can achieve something similar by, for example, only allowing ourselves to listen to an exciting podcast while going for a walk, or only allowing ourselves to discover new music while working out in the gym. When we make our habits more attractive by associating them with rewarding activities, we use the power of dopamine to our advantage. This makes it easier to establish and maintain new positive habits. The third law, the simplicity of habits. Simplicity is the key to forming new habits. Easy and uncomplicated behaviors become routine more quickly than complex and strenuous ones. We use this to make desired behavior commonplace by minimizing effort. Start with small steps to improve your diet. Instead of a whole diet, add a serving of vegetables to your food every day. This simple act can lay the foundation for a permanently healthier diet. Instead of immediately starting an extensive training plan, simply put on your sports shoes after work and walk a few meters. This small step reduces your inhibitions and motivates you to become more active on a regular basis. If you want to quit smoking, make cigarettes more difficult to access or only smoke outside. By increasing the effort involved in smoking, for example by hiding smoking utensils, you reduce the tendency to reach for a cigarette out of habit. The power of the 2-minute rule. Large behavioral changes can be broken down into small steps. The 2-minute rule helps start new habits by reducing the first action to a simple, quick action to start. Instead of committing to reading an entire book right away, start with a goal of reading just 2 pages at night, or make it a goal to just slip on your running shoes after work and walk a few steps. In the beginning, it's not about achieving much, but about starting at all. By starting with small, doable steps, we find it easier to integrate and maintain a habit into our lives. The focus is on getting started and establishing the habit. The fourth law, the satisfaction of habits. Habits must be satisfying to last. This truth is highlighted by the achievements of Stephen Luby, who achieved a significant improvement in health conditions through the provision of luxury soap in Karachi. The pleasant experience of the soap lather motivated people to wash their hands regularly. To stay consistent with your weight loss, you could set aside a small amount for a wellness weekend for every healthy meal you eat. The joy of the amount you have saved acts as an immediate reward and strengthens your motivation to eat healthy. For those who desire more exercise, an immediate post-workout reward could be a favorite drink or music session. Additionally, marking off training days on the calendar can provide an additional sense of satisfaction and progress. When quitting smoking, putting an amount into a reward fund for each temptation overcome can provide immediate gratification. This money could then be used for a reward that celebrates non-smoking status. The human reward system is designed for instant gratification. In a world that often offers delayed feedback, we must learn to associate habits with immediate positive feedback. A couple who decided to eat out less to save money opened a travel account and transferred a fixed amount for each home-cooked meal. This direct reward helped them achieve the goal of saving and living healthier. Although we make habits as enjoyable and rewarding as possible, persistence is required. In the final part of this series, we offer additional tips to help you stick to your new habits and make them a permanent fixture in your everyday life. Habit tracking, the method of habit tracking, in which you systematically record your behavior, can be an effective strategy for establishing new habits. This approach goes back to Benjamin Franklin, who reviewed his 13 core values daily and rewarded himself for adhering to them. If you want to lose weight, you could use a yearly calendar to mark days when you stuck to your eating plans. Each marked day serves as a visual reward and motivational aid. For exercise discipline, marking each successful training day on your calendar could provide the same positive feedback and encourage regularity. Introduction of customary contract. Smokers can help by maintaining a habitual contract in which every cigarette not smoked is noted in the calendar. Accountability partners could be friends or family members who receive an agreed-upon punishment if they relapse. A habitual contract in which one punishes oneself for breaking intentions increases commitment. Brian Harris of Nashville illustrates this by committing to paying financial penalties if he doesn't stick to his diet commitments. Involving accountability partners, as in Harris' case, creates additional incentive to stick to one's resolutions, since the opinions and observation of others can greatly influence our behavior. Set up your own habitual contract with an accountability partner. A possible punishment might be that you have to watch an episode of an unloved show with your partner for not meeting your goals, a deterrent that can reinforce your habit. By sticking to a habit contract and tracking it daily, you can increase accountability for your habits and contribute to long-term success. Over time, this practice becomes your nature and contributes significantly to maintaining the habits you strive for. Summary: small changes in routine can have significant long-term effects. It's about developing positive habits and maintaining them using proven methods. Habits are based on triggers, cravings, the response to them, and finally, the reward. To successfully establish a habit, it should follow 4 basic principles. It must be clearly visible, engaging, easy to implement, and ultimately rewarding. Use techniques like habit tracking and accountability partners, like Benjamin Franklin and Brian Harris did, to make consistent progress and move closer to your goals every day. To introduce new habits, building on existing routines can be helpful. For example, if you want to integrate meditation into your everyday life, use an existing morning ritual like your coffee as an anchor and combine it with a few minutes of meditation. By combining new habits with established rituals, you can more easily incorporate them into your daily routine, thereby increasing the likelihood that they will become part of your routine. And with that, we have come to the end of our journey through the world of habits. Remember, friends, building habits is a marathon, not a sprint. It's the small, consistent steps that lead to big changes. Start with a clear, small resolution and build from there. Be gentle with yourself if it doesn't work out right away, but stick with it. Now it's your turn. I invite you to take the helm and work on your habits. Use the strategies we discussed and watch them change your life little by little. Write in the comments what resolutions you have made and what progress you are making. Are there any tricks that work particularly well for you? Don't forget to like the video if you found it useful and subscribe to the channel for more content to help you grow. Let's change our habits for the better together and develop our full potential. So what are you waiting for? Start today and take the first step towards a better you. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.